I saw you at Nova lah, and then I like, this looks like a Shaq millennial, man.
I'm experiencing my midlife crisis. Back.
I'm just on the console, but also I equally Shaq.
Is it?
I'm
How often do you play that?
Used to be once a month, now once a week.
Now once a week.
Yeah.
Nova just came up like recently only, right? Is it? How long ago did they open? It's not that long ago. Right?
So the building, right, is owned by OUE lah.
Right.
They have one altitude is in level 62, then level 63 is like where Nova is at, right?
Yeah.
Level 62 is already operational for 1 year plus already.
Okay.
So they kind of like finalize the format. They want to keep it like melodic techno and trance, so it, like a more pure venue lah,
Right.
underground bit. Then upstairs where I'm at is like the Cai Peng venue.
Right.
You basically play interesting enough music, yet cool enough music, keep people dancing but not too lame. Because
Right.
if you're too cool, then nobody know the music, then they don't dance. So it's like a in between.
Right. Oh, you
Yeah.
find the balance.
Yeah, correct. So I don't know. I'm like, I need to rescue this guy.
Hey, thank you,
Drink
sir.
upon, blah, blah.
I was there for my friend's birthday and she was like so...
Wait, is it that shorter
Yeah,
girl?
the girl that was
The one
with me.
that screamed when I gave you the...
I think so, yeah.
I was like, hey, it's this girl, yeah?
So she was like, we were at the restaurant downstairs. She was so drunk that she was like, we were at the restaurant for like 1 hour and a half, right? She was at the table for like 30 minutes because she was like puking her guts for the other hour.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it was crazy, yeah. Oh my god,
How do you get people that is like our age to come out and party, man? Or you can't?
you don't do like that. That group of friends, I met them doing bachata.
Mhm.
And she's like what, 20? No, she's not that young. She's 30. She just turned 30 this year. So
Yeah, I think the skincare helps a lot.
yeah.
Everybody's skincare game good now. 30 is the new 20s, right?
How old are you now?
I'm 34, man.
You're 34. Oh
Yeah.
shit.
Are we about the
Okay.
same?
No, I'm 37.
Okay lah. Millennials.
Just about there lah.
Yeah.
But it's rare lah. I think once you hit like this age, like I don't know, not many of my friends go out clubbing and stuff anymore.
Yeah.
Everybody's married and like at
But
home.
if you realize like European culture is different, no matter how old they are.
True.
Yeah. I show you this, man. Where the hell? Yeah, probably people in the podcast cannot see lah. But then the thing is like, I've shared this on my story. Like it literally happened yesterday. What the hell is it? Yeah, I'll show you this. It's my friend, man.
Hey, Jared, I haven't seen him in a long
Oh
time.
damn! Everybody knows everybody. Yeah, bring the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were literally like filming a DJ set in a bloody forest.
Whoa,
Yeah, so it's pretty
this
epic.
is so cool.
Yeah, Tang Lin Jin, man, gave us the venue.
Where was this?
This was actually right. It's damn cool. They have like an all-in-one. Their bar right is beside their distillery and beside a foresty area.
Damn.
That's beside a tennis court that they
Where's
own.
the distillery?
Dempsey area there.
Right, okay, fancy.
Yeah,
Nice,
so it's
nice.
like all four. You feel like they cannot be side by side, but it's like all side by side.
Okay.
Bar, distillery, forest, and tennis court is like you just right smack. And then
Damn.
if you angle the camera properly, you look like you're in a wild. You're actually in a wild, Yeah.
You were having like a friends and family party or what?
So it's actually like a weekly radio show that we have that we're trying to grow.
Right.
But we're shooting it in this studio every week. So the views are kind of like flat. And then eventually we decided to do something a little bit special. Then the views just like... so
Oh,
we're
nice.
like,
What do
okay,
you
so
guys
people
do?
want to see new shit. So now we just start going outdoors and
What do you
it
guys
kind
do
of
that was so successful?
we shut off all the lights and then we have like LED lightsaber style kind of lighting. And then one guy is like doing lighting control with the
Alright.
music.
Okay.
Yeah.
okay. So really
so
like
just a little
fancy
bit.
it.
Then people
Okay.
just like, whoa, So I was like, okay lah. So I guess
No,
that's
but
what
it's
people want.
true. I mean, I think with like social media, you always have to have like that little edge or that like little spin.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where were we, man? Like clubbing. Yeah. So I was talking about like European people lah.
Yep.
They just seem to be able to like club until they are very old. It's like
true,
part of their
it's
culture,
true, actually.
and it's like I think it's a form of gathering for them.
It's like a social gathering, yeah. I mean, it's just a chill activity. Like for Asians, it's like once you get too old, like somehow there's a stigma of like, hey, you shouldn't be clubbing anymore. Aren't you a bit too old to club?
We
Like
just
things
wanna
like,
chiong
I
sua.
cannot that a lot, yeah.
Oh,
It's like, well, when I go clubbing, it's like, oh, look, we're bringing a granddad out to club with us. But I'm at that age now where
yeah.
when I go and club with younger people, they're like, oh, you're coming, you're not too old to drink, man.
This episode of Revelry Podcast is brought to you by Ripple Hydration, the perfect isotonic recovery drink for active individuals or after a late night out partying and drinking. Unlike many of its competitors, Ripple Hydration is a sugar-free beverage, a healthier option. This in turn prevents an energy spike and crash situation. It comes in a variety of flavors, and my personal favorite is the lemon lime. Each one of the sachets can be mixed with up to 750 ml of water. And again, comparing with similar beverage brands in the market, it is the most value for money. So click the link in the description and get a limited time 15% off all Ripple Hydration beverage purchases. And now, back to the show. Yeah, another reason why I see like clubbing kind of going down, right? Because I realize clubbing is a lot about the company.
Right.
I feel like last time people like kind of like over glorify the DJ, like during the EDM era when it's going up, right? Everybody's like, oh my god, it's all about the DJ, right? But I think the music is always supposed to be the background.
Right.
And then the social setting, the drinking and the having fun, seeing sights, right, are supposed to be the main attraction lah.
Yep.
The music is like the accompaniment. So I think everything was done opposite, right? Then it kind of felt wrong, and then people are just like so sick of clubbing. So I think my way of like bringing back clubbing is to do this kind of like more intimate shoots where it's just like our own friends, right? We all know each other and then we are comfortable. So it's like we all know each other, so we won't criticize like, hey, you're too old, because I'm also old, you know. Or maybe the people that we invite is also young, but they kind of know like, hey, all these people are like, you know, they've been there, done that kind of thing. And also, obviously, we invite people that likes music. So in the club, most of the time, I think the people that don't like music like outnumber us, you know. So we need to accommodate to them.
But I think part of why clubbing is like not as popular also is like it's just so expensive for like young people.
Yeah, I think
you think like the cost of living, and like for young people, they'd much rather be doing other stuff nowadays. Like,
yeah.
I mean, back when we were young and when I was in KL and go to clubs, it's like you can get a table without paying like the amount that you pay these days, right?
Yeah, precisely.
I can't even remember how much it was back then, but it was definitely not. We didn't have like tons of money that you need to open a table. Yeah. Today, I'm like, today you want to open a table in a club?
Today, one bottle is like one table back then.
Yeah, dude,
crazy,
it's insane. I'm like, how are people even drinking at this cost? Yeah. Every time I look at people in the club, I'm like, oh, you all got a lot of money. Yeah. All open table and like open that many bottles. It's like,
yeah. So I don't know. I think like maybe the venue and maybe the international act take up a lot of the revenue lah.
Yeah.
But then the thing is, you can still see now, you know, local DJs are still being paid peanuts when...
That's the funny thing, right? It never trickles down, right? Everybody always talks about like...
Fuck it, man. Stop supporting all these like big establishments, you know. Go create your own thing like so many people. Which is why right now is like the rise of the pop-up lah. So many pop-up. Yeah, recently I just saw I think the biggest pop-up in Singapore, right? It's called Ice Cream Sunday.
Ooh, what did they do?
So they book Serembun Scouts Camp.
Right.
And then they just host like a full day wellness to party. So literally starting with like yoga, then exhibition, then all the way to nightclub. And then like people like Fiona here all start picking up on that thing, and they are there. And you can bring your dog, bring your kids, everything is like all ages.
And party, dog, yoga party, it's like everything.
And they collab with another collective called Wild Pearl that do cold plunge party. So, you know, you drink to gain dopamine to party, right?
I heard about that. I saw that on your episode.
Like,
have you ever tried it?
No, I want to go and do it, man. Crazy, dude. Like tempting, huh?
I'm skeptical, but I'm interested to try it. Like, you're really gonna feel the dopamine hit from like...
But maybe it must be damn cold.
I think you'll be sell a bit. Like, you jump into like the
but it's damn high.
You'll be like...
I saw the stories, man. Insane, dude. It's zero alcohol, zero caffeine
arena, just jump into it.
It's just, cold plunge. Everybody, wow. I'm like, what the fuck? Dude, insane, bro.
That's one way to get high.
That's crazy.
Jump into icy cold water. Okay.
Yeah, but then, and I love it that they are doing it like Friday morning or something. Then you can go to work energized, like you party.
Right.
And I saw those like yoga raves or something early in the morning. Okay, 5 a.m. the DJ set up already, 6 a.m. first class. Then DJ 1 hour, do yoga. And then you can go to work. So I think maybe that's the new thing, man. Might be, potentially.
I mean, I think one thing that's really good nowadays with all the social media is that you really can have a lot of niche stuff and like find your audience. Like back then, if you're like doing something niche, it's very hard to like market it. Very hard to find your people.
I got social media already, bro.
Yeah, now you put it up on social media and you can find your people, man. I mean, same with a lot of like all the niche hobbies, stuff like D&D and all that.
Yeah.
Back then, it's like only the geeks will be into like Dungeons and Dragons, and only a few places where you can find to contact that kind of people. But now with social media, it's like everyone is on it.
Yeah, so speaking of like the evolution of like clubbing scene, I guess for yourself you have also like evolved like so many fold, right? Like maybe you can like go through like from the beginning of your journey in Wah Banana. That's how I
Yeah.
first discovered you lah. Like we mentioned before the start, right? It's like I was like going through poly exams or something, and then it was like a super stressful period because poly trying to go to uni is like literally uphill battle lah. Somehow I managed to do it, right? And then when you want to take a break, you're just like randomly scrolling through YouTube. Last time, don't even have Instagram or whatever. YouTube's like
Right.
the biggest. And then it's just like the Wah Banana skits like so regularly.
It was. So it's
It's
crazy.
like a damn violent grind, no? I can just imagine.
It was crazy. So I've been like in social media for like over a decade, and we started out with Wah Banana, which was on YouTube.
Yeah.
And back then, everyone on the team had like no film training. I'm like,
Winging it.
yeah, we were all winging it. I'm a finance grad. Back then we were working in this company Garena, which is now like C Private Limited, and they wanted to. At that point, I was doing videos about video gaming because I mean Garena is a gaming company, right?
Yes.
So we were making like videos about gaming, and then they decided, hey, why if we take out the gaming element, we just do like straight up comedy, and then that's how Wah Banana.
So Wah
was
Banana is
formed.
owned by Garena.
Yeah, it was
Still?
not. I think now it's been bought out by Ling Yi, one of the.
She created it, right?
Yeah.
Then I guess maybe she used to create it under Garena or something.
Mm.
So now she managed to buy
So
it
she
out.
was my boss back then. Yeah, Ling Yi was my boss.
Right, back then, right, I think for some context, when we were younger, right, when we see the main character in the show, you thought that these are the owners of the channel.
Right,
But
right.
actually, there's like,
It was a corporation,
Yeah, it's a
right?
corporation.
It was actually somebody behind it, yeah.
wow. But back then, it was so unknown, you know.
Yeah. So yeah, but to be fair, right, I mean, it wouldn't have been successful without the backing that Garena had. So
Yeah.
back then Garena had like the whole like platform for Dota. So almost basically anyone who's playing Dota in
Dude, I know
Singapore
Garena,
was,
man. I play like all
was
those like,
on, yeah.
Counter-Strike variants.
Yeah,
Blackshot,
all the
Wolf
black
Team.
shot, yeah. So everybody's on the Garena platform, right? So we had like the
Crazy, bro.
perfect way of marking the videos. We didn't know what the heck we were doing. We were watching a lot of US YouTube at that time. We were very inspired by Dietrich and Ryan Higa. I don't even remember. I don't even know if
I
you
know
can
Ryan
remember.
Higa. He used to
Dietrich,
at one
Ryan
point the
Higa.
biggest, right?
Yeah.
There's
Wong-
one that reunion tour recently.
Is it Wong
The
Fu?
Smosh.
Smosh. Oh my gosh, Smosh.
Did
We
you
watched
see the
so much
podcast? The
Smosh.
reunion podcast.
Yeah, it's
Bloody
crazy.
hell, dude.
Wow. So yeah, Smosh, Wong Fu, who else is there? I mean, JK, whatever it was called. Yeah. So that was like the heyday. Back then I didn't even know I was the director. You know, one day I Googled like what does a director do? And then
Then you've been just doing it.
Then I read everything that the director does, and then I was like, oh, I'm doing that. I guess I'm the director. I guess I've already been directing. That was how I found out about directing. So we did that for about a year. And then Wah Banana grew to be like one of the largest top 5 YouTube channels in Singapore.
Is it now still?
Should be, I think. It's probably like top 5 to 10 like easily.
Yeah.
And then I left because like at that point I think Garena didn't really know what they wanted to do with the brand. So I left and I started Three Potatoes.
And it was still quite hot, you know. You left it's kind of like
Yeah,
peak at the time,
peak.
right?
I left at the peak.
Yeah.
So it was a tough choice lah. But then I think we wanted to find how to fulfill it to its best lah. Basically, we wanted to really capitalize on the scene at that point, and so we left. We started
It was
our
just
own
1
thing.
year you all left already.
Yeah, 1 year. We were
Dude,
doing
I
it
feel
for a
like I'm
year.
watching millions of your videos.
We
Wow,
but we were
grinding,
quite
ah.
religious in releasing like almost every week, I think.
Wow, that's crazy, sir. Okay, wow, 1 year is.
And back then, like for YouTube, the production quality and the time was a lot longer. I mean, nowadays you like shoot like a TikTok video. Some people just shoot like
rapid fire, man.
yeah, dude, they can do like 3-4 videos a day.
Mm.
Back then we were all about like, oh. So it's so interesting, right? Back in the YouTube days, like the goal is like to increase the production value and to like make the highest quality thing.
Storyline.
Yeah, have a film, right? Every YouTuber aspires to be like Hollywood film director. Not anymore, right? I mean, now with TikTok, I don't think people aspire.
Now it's how many
Now-
you can throw, man.
Now you want to be a TikTok creator.
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
that in itself is the goal. You're not using the platform as like a stepping stone to somewhere else. Back then, YouTube was seen as like a stepping stone to something bigger. Now the platform is the end goal. I want to be a TikTok star, right? Or a TikTok creator. So it's very different, right? And yeah, so we left. We ran Tree Potatoes for about 8 years. Then I was so burnt out. Yeah, I was entirely.
So you own Tree Potatoes?
Yeah, that one I owned with Janice and Elliot.
Okay.
And we ran it for 8 years, and just balancing creative and money. Like, I'm sure this is the age problem. Balancing creative and business is not a nice thing, lah. It's a tough thing, lah.
Super tough.
Yeah, and I was young back then. So when we started the company, I was 25. I didn't know how to scale up the business. I didn't know how to, build a creative team. So everything was like done.
Chief Everything Officer, man.
Yeah, so it was really like that. It was a struggle. And so after 8 years, we tried everything. Yeah, we did like YouTube videos, we did television drama.
Yeah.
And then, so after that,
you see this Reddit post that somebody did? It's like, hey, I thought the Tree Potato people was like, wow, banana or something. Then what happened to the story? And then that Reddit post became viral. And then Elliot said, I had to create a Reddit account just to address this. Wow. And he go back to the law.
I think I remember that post. That was many years ago.
Yeah, man.
Wow. Yeah. So I cannot recall the exact contents of it, but I remember barely.
Because like, hey, we miss these guys, every time, and this time we will watch, then like, people in the comments reminiscing.
But that's the dream of any artist, right? Like to affect people's lives and like to hear about it. Yeah.
Daily vlog. Wow, intense, man.
It was crazy, but it was tiring. It was so tiring, and it was creatively exhausting. Because I think the thing about like social media,
is it the money is to effort not equivalent?
Not really. I don't think the money to effort thing. I think if you do put in a lot of effort, it was rewarding at that time, especially like. Because it was like, when we started YouTube, it was like wild west of YouTube, right? You can charge whatever you want. Like, all the brands want in on it. We were very lucky. We were set up in a period of time when we're like pioneers. Pioneers and in the boom. So it was definitely lucrative, but I think creatively it got very exhausting. Because like, there was this pressure to create what the audience wants, like constantly. I don't know if you've ever felt that, like, I'm sure you have as an artist, where you feel like, hey, in order for me to be successful, I have to do this kind of thing. And this kind of thing might not necessarily
what
be
I want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
often,
and then you're like, oh, I have to keep doing this even though I'm not into it. And it kills you inside a little bit. Yeah.
And to reinvent yourself, it might be so risky because there's people working under you. You have to pay them.
Exactly.
Wow.
I think that was the biggest pressure for me. The biggest pressure for me was always taking care of the team and like making sure that everybody is like salaried and taken care of. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, if the company fails and like it's just me, then okay, I just pick myself back up and I go. But if the company fails and there's like people under me, then how? I cannot pick everyone up and like, it's different. Like the responsibility to others when you run a company, that caused me a lot of sleepless nights. Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah. This is something that I just thought of because I always thought like company founders, right, are people that have supreme confidence in themselves, right? And then they start a company, right? But I have a friend that is super confident and very successful, but she just don't want to start a company because she's like, I'm not ready to accept the day, right, that I have to start feeding people and people depending on me.
Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah,
it's so scary.
And I'm like, dude, I thought you're like super high flyer. She's general manager, Amber Lounge, man. Holy shit. I'm like, dude, where the hell is your company? He's like, yeah, I'm not ready, man. But like after many years, 10 over years, then I kind of like slowly want to step in to create my own thing. But the only employee is myself. I'm like, okay, okay, yeah.
Okay.
Gotta start somewhere.
It's true. You need a certain kind of like stomach to be able to have people rely on you for their livelihood.
Yeah, precisely.
And I think for myself, like when I left my previous job at Wabanana, I wasn't very happy with how they treated us. So I was like very insistent on like when I run my own company, I want to make sure that everybody's happy and well taken care of.
But then you realize got this thing called PNL.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, exactly.
You become the bad guy.
Exactly. So it's like life is not so easy. Yeah.
Ah.
You can dream to run things the right way, but life is not so easy.
Yeah. It's like when you watch soccer, everybody's like, this guy can, he can run
Yeah,
faster.
yeah.
But when you are the one, then it's like, can you actually run faster? I cannot.
Talk is easy lah. Yeah.
So 3 Potato, you still own it?
Yeah.
But with the other two partners,
with the others. But we've largely like dissolved the company and everything already. So
then what about the YouTube channel? It's still continuously gaining views, right?
it still does get views.
Yeah, the legacy
here and
factor, man, for
there.
YouTube is insane, dude.
It does. It still builds up views, but then I mean, we're not gaining followers or anything like.
But
just
how
the
do
old
you
stuff.
split the money when it comes to views gaining?
I mean, honestly, the ad revenue is like super little.
Low.
Yeah. I mean, at this point lah, and
But
I
back
also. Back then, we would split it. We would go into the company and then we would draw our own salary lah.
Oh,
we
okay,
don't
okay,
we don't take profit from the videos itself and then like pay out like commission. We usually don't do by commission lah. We do by like salary, a fixed salary.
Do you know, right, Babish, the cooking channel, like 9 million? So he started this series called Mondays with Babish or Fridays with Babish.
Babish is great, man. I love
Babish huge, right? So every week, he'll get one of his staff. Okay, I think it's like you come up with a recipe, you feature on my weekly show lah. If
Right.
that thing do well, right, you get like 10% commission. So
Damn.
and then they have a software that they can do that.
Oh, I never.
So you can
that's
subscribe.
Crazy.
Yeah, so it's like profit sharing to encourage you to come up with the craziest ideas,
Wow.
So one of, I think the producers come out with okay, today we will cook like a one-piece meal, a meal that emulates the
One Piece, like the anime.
the anime.
What
And then they
the
cook
heck?
the same, and then the movements, everything the same, then side-by-side video, And then I think it's like a lot of views, and then Babish did like the profit sharing thing, and then it kind of motivates the team even further. So I thought it's pretty interesting,
Sounds really cool. I think that's always a struggle with like motivating creatives and like working with like creators, right? It's like, and I think, I mean, I've been in the social media sphere for a long time, and I work with all the different like influencer agencies, and I've seen how. I mean, there's always the fear of like, hey, if we help somebody make money and then become an influencer, then they're gonna run away and like not and do their own thing. But I mean, like, I feel like the healthy way is that you should be sharing the pie with these people. I mean, if they're coming up with good stuff and they're like helping your brand grow, like, and so what if they break off and like start their own thing? Then I mean, be happy, like you're part of
be a success case example of your company.
Right.
And I realized something. It's like, for example, you did like I don't know, like I did a Benjamin King podcast or something. And then recently he did like a NDP thing, right? And then he's like popping off, right? Dude, people searching for Benjamin King and it comes on for my podcast,
Nice.
So then it kind of gains a little bit of views here and there.
Yeah.
So you still gain, Yeah.
I've always been a firm believer of like, you grow the pie, you don't like fight over the small pieces, right? It's just like,
that's the way.
and even more so with like social media, like there's like it's not a limited pie, as in like there's you
digital currency, infinite one. You can make more.
Yeah, you can make more, and there's always like new audience to be gained, right? Yeah,
correct. And
it's not like TV time slot. Back then, like on TV, there's only one 7 p.m. time slot, so you can only watch one 7 p.m. show. Now it's like you can choose whatever you want to watch, like so.
Yeah, but I think the problem comes when everybody trying to fight for that popular niche lah. And then it become oversaturated lah.
That's for sure.
Become Red Sea lah. Then everybody start killing each other.
Yeah. It is. There's just so much content nowadays that like every niche is like has its own thing, right? It's crazy, but it's good also. I think it's good because like, I mean, I think that one of the things that you can do to be successful now on social media is really finding your niche, right?
Yeah. And so 3 potatoes, and then after that, you guys after
split
3
it up.
potatoes, then what's next for you guys?
So we kind of like broke off and like went our own way. That was in 2020. I think it's 2020 or 2019. Somewhere. No. It
Pre-COVID.
was 20. It was pre-COVID. It was 2018 when we stopped everything.
Yeah.
And so Elliot went off to start his own digital marketing company. Start Something Studios if you ever need like digital marketing needs. Then Janice is now she was working at Big 3 Media for a while, which is like the production house. And then now she's at WeComs, which is like a PR agency. Myself, I went to work with like a government link company doing like, which was crazy. It was like a shift from private running my own business. And then suddenly one day I got a call from one of the ex-producers at MediaCorp. And she asked, like, hey Aaron, what are you doing nowadays? And I said, I'm just freelancing, just doing my own thing. She said, you want to work at, like, you want a job?
9 to 5.
Yeah, and then I was like, hey, you know what? Let's pay the bills, lah. Let's get some bills paid. So I was like, it's a government job, but then I'm like, it's a government linked job. So I was like, can I do it or not? Can I do a government linked job? I'm like a rebel. I'm like an unconventional person. Then I realized, like, wow, I can do it. So yeah, I'm very good at, like, following orders. Like, I can turn on when you give me enough money, I'm very good at, like, just doing what you tell me to do.
Oh, damn.
And then,
how long did that gig last?
So that gig lasted 2 years, and actually, it was not
longer than Wild Bananas, yeah. Shit.
Yeah, longer than Wild Banana.
Holy shit.
So I was damn shocked. I was like, wow, can I go from running my own business to, like, following orders and, like, doing what is required? And honestly speaking, it wasn't the toughest job. It was like, I mean, creatively, you are limited, right? When you're doing, like, government work, you don't have to be the most creative. You're more like making sure that you have to be creative to a certain extent, but you need to make sure that you're fulfilling whoever's request, whichever government.
Teamwork more important, right?
Yeah. Teamwork is more important. Hitting the goals and targets is more important than, like, actual creativity. So it's a bit different, and so the job wasn't hard, but I think for me, I care a lot about people. And so when I was there, the team, it's tough to run and take care of a team in that kind of setting because they're being worked very hard.
Were you hired as a manager?
I was hired as a manager, yeah. So I was the executive producer there. I was the young... So at that point, so that was also a very interesting point in my career because at that point, I was 32, I think, around that, 31. And then I was going into, like, a company where everybody is, like, older than me. So, like, half the guys who are under me are older than me. So I was quite stressed out, honestly. I was
used to legacy media.
Yeah, I was damn stressed out because I was like, wow, if I go in there and then I tell these people how to do their job, they're gonna be like, who is this young punk coming in here? Come from YouTube, don't know what. And then they're all, like, CNA producers.
Oh shit!
They're all, like, very, like, experienced people with big, like, accolades behind them, and then I'm supposed to tell them what to do. But so that was a challenge, and that was where I learned a lot. Also, like, I learned a lot about how to, like, work with, like, older people, how to gain people's respect, how to manage people's ego. And I mean, I actually enjoyed that a lot. Working with creatives is quite a challenge. I'm not sure if you've experienced, like, when you collaborate on something that you have to manage the egos. When you have a bunch of creatives in the room, there's, like,
everybody
ego
wants
management.
it to feel like their own.
Yeah.
And how do you make everybody align? Ayo.
Yeah.
Fuck my life,
it's
man.
like, guys, let's work together, but at the same time, it's like, why are we doing this together? So I do it by myself. It's like
better, right? Yeah. Wow,
So,
but it's actually a good sign, that you are a finance person and then you never, like, work through the ranks, right? But end up you become everybody's boss, right? Because I think they recognize that you successfully run your own company and you have, like, a proven track record, It's not very common. It's more common in the West where they are hiring founders.
Yep.
Here it's all about, how many cert you have,
Yeah.
how many work experience you have. But I'm glad that the government end up hiring you
I
because
was
of the
very lucky.
founder status.
Yeah.
That's epic,
So
man.
I was very lucky that the commissioning editor who brought me in, she really enjoyed working with me. So I think she saw my potential and she brought me in. I'm very thankful for that. So I was there for 2 years, and then after that I joined SGAG, which was, like, a whole different ball game. Like,
It's like 4 years.
I was there for, like, a year and 2 years. Also at 2 years at SGAG. And that was, like... So when I went to SGAG, I had this idea that, I've done social media for 10 years. I'll be fine. Like, how difficult can it be?
Yeah, how's SGAG like? I know they are like a behemoth of a company.
They are.
Huge,
it was
bro.
much bigger than I expected. So they've got, like, over 100 plus employees.
Wow, short form kings, bro.
Yeah.
Short form can make your company so big.
Yeah, they're doing
bro.
very... I mean, they've got the short
Wait,
form.
they don't even short form, bro. They're just images, bro, at first.
Remember? First, yes. They started with memes. And then and video was, like, the secondary product at that point.
Damn.
Right? There was a point where memes were, like, the biggest earner, and then video was, like, the secondary.
Remember they have the 9get app?
Yeah.
You just scrolling through meme.
You just
The meme
endlessly...
templates,
That
they
was
can
the
make your meme.
whole... back before it's like static TikTok lah, basically.
Yeah, man.
So when I went in there, I was like very confident. I was like, I go in there. I'm like, I've done this for so long. Social media, how hard can it be? And then I went. I was like, I had the biggest wake up call. I was like, oh my god, everything is so different. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's when I learned, like, you know, everyone will do their things their own way lah. And it took me a long time. Well, not a long time, but it took me like the first few months really understanding why and how they do things. And I think,
what's the major difference? Like, let's just say your the government job. The government job is it like CNA or something?
yeah, so I mean, okay, so I'll talk about like 3 different ways to run a team, right? Like for myself, we were in 3 potatoes, very ragtag bunch. Everybody's doing a bit of everything. No specialization, tons of generalization, a lot of like one man pao ke liao do a bit of everything, and you fill the gap lah, right? That's me running my own business. We're trying to be as efficient as possible.
Yep.
In the government, it doesn't work that way. Everybody is like, this is my job.
Outside my job, don't bother me.
Hey, this is not my job. You don't ask me to do it.
Yeah.
Like, why you ask me to do things that are not my job? You're not paying me to do this thing. So
Spoken like a true government official.
a very different mentality. Of course, there are people with better attitudes who will help lah, and then they're like, okay, like, it's not my job, I still help and do. But that's a rarer few, right? A lot of people default to like the typical, like, hey, if not my tai chi, I don't touch. Then at SGAG, not a bit of a mix. A hybrid, like, because I think as they were growing, they wanted to establish a certain way of doing things, and also it's also where I saw like how much a leader can influence like the culture and structure and things. So I mean, why I say that is because at SGAG they had at various points they had different people managing the video team. So at one point they had like a film production person who's trained and like studied in film school, heading the production team. So obviously,
more formal.
when they structure it like how they structure film structure, like there's producers, writers,
according
director,
to your boss.
yeah, and then like very segregated team. But I think when you look at social media today, we don't really work like that.
Everybody need to know each other, then can cross-reference.
Yeah, right? and also when you're doing like a short form video, do you really need like director, producer, cameraman, editor? Normally it's just one person shoot everything and edit. It's not like, if it's like a 30-second video or a 1-minute video, you're doing everything yourself. It's like one-man team. So when I went into SGAG, like one of the big things that I pushed for was like, one, we needed to increase our presence on TikTok. Because at the point that I came in, the TikTok team was very small. It was just a 2-person team. And then I was like, hey, this is too small a team for like, because we had like 17 or 19, about 15 to 20 people on the creative team, and only 2 of them or 3 of them were on TikTok. So I was like, hey, out of a 15-20 person team, like only 3 people on TikTok is too small, because like TikTok is gonna be growing, and
now it's the bigger pie, right?
Yeah,
TikTok as compared to long form.
Exactly. So I was looking at it and I was like, hey, TikTok is gonna be huge, right? And why are we not getting?
When was that? When you
that
said
was
that?
2 years ago. So that was
after COVID.
After COVID, right after COVID, right? That was 2022.
Right.
And TikTok was already starting to
show the signs of taking over.
But government side wasn't spending on TikTok yet. I mean, the government's always lagging behind about half a year to a year. Yeah, they won't like do ads on like a new social media platform until like it's tried and tested. So my thoughts was like, hey, it's gonna blow up soon. We gotta get more people on it. So I started pulling more people and training them in TikTok. And then I also changed the way that we work, because I was like, hey, if we're doing TikTok videos, it's only 1 minute. It's not long form anymore. You don't need like director.
Also, the former director guy is before you.
Yes, he was before me. Before me, actually a few years before me. Yeah. The last person who was managing the video team before me, who was also my boss for about a year, he was an agency guy. And he also like brought a lot of change, and he was a great boss. Like he taught me a lot of things about process and systems and things like that. And he was he was an agency guy, so he already like had brought some change to the team. He was already like getting them to be a bit more like independent and creative. But when I came in, I was like, okay, I'm gonna like change the way we work. I'm gonna not do things the old school film way, because old school film way has its benefits, but we need to move fast and we need
Cannot
to
keep
like,
up the speed with current content
yeah,
creation
you
schedule.
need to, and we're not looking for the same level of quality also.
Yeah.
We're
More authentic.
Yeah, exactly, right? I mean, now the
Authentic
thing with
can mean a lot of things.
exactly. now the whole shtick with the social media is like authenticity, right? Which is a whole different like talk. And I have lots of
Yeah,
I have lots to say about authenticity. Yeah,
the video quality can look like they gonna kidnap, eh?
yeah, exactly, right. It's authentic, right? It's like kidnappers got me, so it gotta look like kidnappers video
So
camera.
your role at SGAG is head of video. The moment you're hired for that.
I was very fortunate. Like how I got the job was that I was talking to Adrian.
For many of you, which is Xiaoming,
Yeah, and
the shades guy.
yes. And at that point, I was still at the government company, and then I talked to Adrian and I asked him about whether they had a role open.
He only wears shades on camera, right?
No, like he's not wearing shades when he sees me. Yeah, only on camera,
In
So,
office,
he's just like. But to be fair, when he takes photos with like the people in the office, he'll put on his shades. So that
they can
if
recognize
if they want to post it, then he's in the shade. So he was the one who brought me in, and at that point they weren't actually looking for the role of like head of video. So when I spoke to him, he saw that I had potential for that role, and so yeah, I'm really thankful to him like for offering me that opportunity and honestly it was an amazing time. Like the 2 years there, I managed to. It was the first time that I felt like, wow, the people working under me are better than me at being creatives.
Damn.
And that's them empowering.
It's all the younger than you.
Yeah, I don't know. That was like highs there. I felt amazing. Like
Then
I
you
don't
just
wanna
focus
be-
on managerial.
yeah, I don't want to be the smartest person in the room, man.
Yeah.
I don't want to be. I don't even think that is my strongest suit. I feel my strongest suit has always been as a generalist.
Yep.
Like that's the thing that I love most. I love being a generalist. I like playing with all the different parts, whether it comes to business, marketing, sales, and I love dabbling in many different things. So to be able to like let go of some of the creative part and let people who are really good at it handle it, that felt good. I like that a lot. Yeah.
I think it says a lot about Adrian as a boss. I mean, he's one of the boss, right? Like,
Yeah.
I think like got two
Yeah,
bosses.
two bosses, yeah.
Two bosses, right? So
Carl
Adrian's
and
one
Adrian.
more. It's like every head of video, right, quote unquote, right? Before you is probably not an official position, right? Was it?
Back then, I think they had different titles for it. Yeah.
Like the equivalent,
Mm.
every head of video coming can affect the culture so strongly. That means you don't really micromanage, It's like, okay, I trust you, then go for it.
Yeah, I think he does allow quite a fair bit of like influence for each of the managers lah. And they did shape lah. I think inevitably when you
hire people, right?
when you hire people and you put them in charge of
So
something,
it's a risk that you must be willing to take.
yeah. And you will feel they are changed throughout the organization lah. To me, it's like always how and that's something I also learned after working at so many places, is that how the company's culture is, how the people behave, right? It always comes down from the top. Like everybody's an individual, sure. When I'm an individual, but when I join a company and then the company structure and culture and everything is in a certain way, right? You will start to behave a certain way. I think the best example is like army, right? You go into army, like you can be an individual, but once you go in there, you are no longer an individual. You're a cog
yeah.
in the machine. You stop being an individual. As much, even the strongest individual gets, there will be a funny looking cog, but still a cog.
Elon Musk, I just watched like a podcast clip, right? He said that, why are there so many Japanese car companies that are doing so well, but American car companies are like going down?
Right.
Because imagine, right, an American car company, right, it's like a dragon boat rowing team, right? And a Japanese is also a dragon boat, right? The Japanese got 1 steerer and 6 rollers. Then US got 6 steerers, 1 roller. And then when things don't happen, right, the US fire the roller.
Right.
Yeah.
That is a very funny. Okay, I can totally. It sounds very familiar.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like, I think to be a leader, right, to be a manager, to be someone that leads, right, has to have a higher level of qualification. Qualification not by like how much papers you have, but you need to go through more challenge before you are deemed a leader. Whereas now, I think the day and age, right, is like, okay, you go in a company, then you know this guy, okay, then you know your friend, can so often lah. But I think company owners should start to make it tougher so that for the sake of their company and for the sake of their people.
Right. I think the problem with a lot of leaders, and for me, what I think is like the most important like aspect of being a leader is really empathy lah, and like understanding. At the end of the day, you're only the leader with the people under you, right? As in like if you don't have people under you and you don't have anyone you're not taking care of people, then what are you? You're just like a figurehead. So to me, it's like you got to understand what the people under you are doing. You've got to empathize with them, and that's the problem with a lot of leaders have. They forget that.
I think they became a leader first because they were so good at their job.
Yeah, exactly.
And then now they kinda need to manage people. Then like, oh shit.
It's exactly that.
Yeah.
It's exactly that. And not everybody who's good at their job is meant to be a leader.
Yeah. Precisely.
It's two totally different skills. Yeah.
That's why. I saw a LinkedIn post actually. There's this guy, right, that's freelancing for a company for like decades. And then the boss is like, why don't you just join us? It's like, okay, if you want me to join you, right, there's like this terms and condition. And all the terms and condition, right, involves, right, you just go do creative work and you fuck off. You don't manage people, you don't talk to client, nothing. But as you get higher up the ranks, you eventually have to do all these kind of things.
There's that expectation.
So, yeah, if jobs were kind of made in a way that can fully realize an individual's potential rather than like try to level them up in the traditional way, I think companies would do so much better.
Which I think was something that SGAG was trying to do, right? They were trying to separate a leadership track and a creative track.
But very difficult, right?
Very difficult. Yeah. Because like, obviously the leadership track is always valued.
The head of the creative is more powerful, or the head of the business? So you listen to who, you know?
Right. I mean, for that, it's like, there's always somebody in charge, right? There's a general manager who
OIC.
Yeah. Who will be in charge of like both lah. Yeah. But yeah, definitely there'll be like conflict between like creative and sales and production, and that's quite normal lah.
Get more of this. Yeah. So, what are some of the strategies that 9gag, SGAG? Actually, is SGAG like a subsidiary of 9gag?
No. They were never.
But SGAG, MGAG is the.
Yeah. So there was SGAG, MGAG, PGAG. Then there's Indonesia.
All by Adrian and.
Yeah, all with Adrian and Carl. So it's all under the Hepmill group.
But isn't there any like copyright conflict or what with 9gag, which is the original?
So I'm not super familiar, but I don't think they
or maybe they settled themselves lah.
I think they must have figured it out lah early on in the days. Yeah.
Right.
Because there's like PGAG, there's SGAG, there's MGAG lah. Yeah. They never made iGag. I mean, obviously. Indonesia was not called iGag. But that would have been a great...
what the hell, man?
That was a great meme.
Did you see... You know the clothing brand Kith, Kith?
Yeah.
Right. Did you see the new Mike Tyson collab they did?
They're making fun of his list.
Yeah. So they put the Mike Tyson, right? It's official, okay? So Mike Tyson got profit sharing. So Mike Tyson put two birds together, right? And then now Keith.
Mike Tyson, funny.
Wow, selling a whole cakes when I'm considering to buy. But I want to click buy. I saw already. Crazy, bro. Now Keith, bro.
Fucking good, yeah.
I mean, now it's like the age of the meme where people not taking each other so seriously, right?
Yep.
Last time it's about, I'm this authority, you cannot make fun of me. Now it's like, hey, make fun of me better, yeah, more eyeballs, bro.
Exactly. I mean, authenticity is like king now, right? Which is good and bad, right? Like,
please give us your list of authenticity that you.
Walao, authenticity. My take on it is this, like, you always, I mean, as somebody who's been in social media, I forever will question like any authenticity that I see on social media.
Question any authenticity. Like,
As in the sense that,
is it real authenticity?
yes. Is it real or
shit, now authenticity got not real ones, yeah.
It's freaking
Like
on
fabricated.
camera.
Right.
Anyone who has been behind a film camera knows like nothing happens on camera that you didn't want to happen on camera.
Yeah.
You gotta press the button, you gotta be there, you gotta edit it. There's so many opportunities during that entire process for you to say, hey, I wanna change the way I say this. So what is authentic? Like, yeah,
Precisely.
exactly. I mean, so
what's like the level of authenticity? How would you consider authentic? Like if something was 80% authentic, would you say that okay, this one pass?
what I would say is authentic is like, to me, and I would consider myself a bit more informed because I've done film and I've been in the industry.
Yeah.
So to me, of course, I have a higher standard of what I consider authentic. To me, what's authentic is like I meet you in real life and I see what you are. I mean, I will never consider what you put on social media as the authentic you. But
yeah, man.
But I think to the viewer and for purposes of business and social media, I would say like authenticity is whatever you can convince the viewer is authentic lah.
Damn, so dark, bro.
It is. As long as the viewer thinks it's authentic, then it's authentic. Who am I to judge? Who am I to tell? I can't go out there and tell everyone, hey, actually this person is fake. They're not being authentic.
Yeah.
If you believe it's authentic.
Every video you write in the comment section, hey, this guy, steady.
It's like movies, right? As in like,
I mean, you look at Stephen Chow, you know, the Zhou Xingci, right?
Yep.
Yeah, he in real life he's like super serious one, you know.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Exactly.
No, but he's so fucking cock on camera. And I love it.
I think at the end of the day, it's like film. And I have this word that I love is verisimilitude, which is
what?
verisimilitude. It means
Similitude.
like verisimilitude. It's one word. And it means like the simulation of reality. Like, and what it basically means is like something that feels real, but is not actually real.
Oh shit, parasocial relationship with the K-pop idols.
So verisimilitude is like, one example of it is like phone calls in a movie. You know when they call in a movie, they just pick up, they don't say hello and they just say, hey, what's up? You know, and then they go straight.
They know the agenda, bro.
Yeah, they go straight to the agenda. But you don't question it. It feels real. It's just like, yeah, when I watch it, I don't question that this feels fake.
Yeah.
So verisimilitude is just like the simulation of reality. Oh, and I think the same thing is happening in TikTok. Like, in the sense that, you know, when you record your videos and you talk, it feels real. I'm just talking to the camera and like I'm having my rant. But if you think about it, really, like who rants so clearly and without any like pauses,
hiccups.
without any hiccups? Come on. You don't tell me it's not practiced.
Take 23.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But to the audience, they're like, oh, feels so real. He just whipped out his phone. He's just like talking, like he's talking to me.
Talking to me?
Yeah, he's just speaking his mind, but what is the reality? So verisimilitude is like, it's the simulation of reality. It feels real. It feels like this person really just authentically recorded this vlog when he was feeling upset. But actually, how much thought went into it? How much practice went into it? What take number is it? You don't know.
Damn.
You don't know.
But I think slowly people on TikTok can tell. Why I say that, right, is because a lot of short form content creators, right, when they kena some drama, they straight away kena thrown under the bus, you know. But those people that did well in short form and they convert themselves to long form, right, then people can kind of empathize with them better because long form you can see more of the person and then you can feel more of the person lah. But nothing beats real life, which is actually a good sign for all DJs watching this podcast. Finally, our gig will have fucking people come. Yes.
Real
Holy
life.
shit.
Nothing beats real life.
Yes. Yeah, we need to embrace real life, man. Because like again, Joe Rogan podcast with fucking Elon Musk.
Embrace real life.
Yeah, because
I like it.
Because Elon Musk is now creating, not only working with AI, but he's also creating his like Tesla bots, right?
Right.
He called it like, I think Optimus or something.
What the
Yeah.
Something sounds like a very Elon Musk thing.
Yeah. So the robot is like basically gonna start out helping you clean and shit, right? But eventually he's gonna take over bartenders or whatever, even DJs, you know.
Damn.
He's gonna take over. He said he envisioned like a 20-year time scale, so we got some time to figure out lah.
What do you think about AI art, AI music, and things like that?
Yeah, at first I was like kind of like resisting it lah. Actually, there are subtle signs of it happening 10 years ago when DJ controllers start, maybe 10 or 8 years lah. DJ controllers start having the sync button. So the hardest thing about being a DJ, right, is this thing called beat matching, where you're supposed to like hear a song, right, and know the tempo,
Right.
and then right match with another song of a different tempo.
Right.
So you need to be able to hear two things at once and know which one is faster, which one is slower, and like move it in place. And then when it finally syncs, you kind of like shift the tempo slider so that it stays the same.
Right.
So that skill took me roughly 2 weeks of hardcore learning to kind of like understand, but not perfect lah. But then a lot of people give up at that point.
Right.
So that is literally the make or break point. But Pioneer DJ came up, or Serato DJ came up with a way that you can synchronize the beats. So there's like something like AI in the making.
Yeah,
and then suddenly there's a boom of DJs. There's so many DJs, you know. A skill that takes you like a year to perfect, like ear training piano, right? It's literally you can just press 2 buttons, done. And then that skill is rendered like useless.
Right.
Unless like maybe there's some technical issue with your sync button, and then when things are off, you actually know how to beat match, you can beat match lah. But what are the odds, right? Like maybe like 90% it still works, right? So there are signs that AI is coming up, and there's a lot of resistance even till now. But now I think fast forward 15, 20 years, right, since its invention, people are slowly adapting it to their sets, and then they start to make their sets more complicated.
Right.
So now I don't need to do beat matching already. I can start to insert a piano in and play a piano at the same time while DJing, you know? So people start to like get creative lah. So I think the only way to like kind of like adapt to AI, right, you cannot win AI one, because AI is like China. You know? AI is like China. Dude.
Yeah, it's like that's a quote. You gotta cut this into a clip, bro. AI is like China.
Okay. But never mind, never mind. It's okay. We will just cut this part. Yeah. We'll just cut
This part has to be in
Yeah.
Short break. Commercial break.
Put our ads.
Yeah. It's like China. Okay. Why like China, yeah? I must hear this.
So you see, Elon Musk created like Falcon 9 or whatever, right?
Yep,
landing rockets.
Yep.
So sorry, I think I put the camera like a trap, so anybody walk past will kena, but it's okay. I will cut this part again.
Her shoes are very orange.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, so maybe we don't need to cut lah. Just fuck it lah. Just leave it in lah. We see how we can use alternate cameras. It's okay. It's okay. We got over it already. We got over it already. It's okay. So sorry. We didn't account for today. So sorry. But yeah, why I say it's like China, right? Is because whatever things you can create, right? China can copy you. Right? Yeah. And then
right.
You think China care about pattern, copyright law? Don't give a fuck.
What is IP?
Can I make what you make, right? It's okay, go. It's okay.
They're very orange shoes. Very orange.
Yeah. So it's like whatever. I think China actually makes the world better in a sense that, okay, whatever that can be made, I will make it and I'll mass market, make it cheap, so everybody have access to it.
Like they democratize it in a way, like make it accessible to everyone. A
communist country is democratizing.
They're communizing everything. Everyone can have it.
Oh yeah,
for you, brother.
Actually,
everyone get rice.
Everybody, for you, brother. Yeah. So actually, right, I feel like AI is like a bit like that. Whatever you can do, they can copy it and make it better.
Right.
So the only way to be ahead, right, is the creativity game now.
Yeah.
And AI kind of renders like written exam useless now. So now to all the schools, what's next? You know, what's next? What are you gonna do to combat that? How do you train a different kind of learning rather than memorization now? Yeah. You know, I come from engineering school of NTU engineering. I was at one point doing so well that graduate year 4, right? Year 3, my microprocessor professor. Microprocessor is now called nanotechnology because back then no nano. Now last time only got micro.
Right.
Offered me direct PhD, skip masters.
Wow.
Like wow. Then end up I become a DJ. Get an $800 a month salary. Fuck my life. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So here I am, and then I just feel like how you gonna like revolutionize like thinking as an individual now lah. That there's AI. And I feel like the only way, right, to survive, right, is to adapt at all costs. If you don't, you will just lose to someone that adapted.
Yeah.
And so right now, how I view AI is, okay, so this is a fun fact. I was tasked to create 3 songs for Singapore River Festival. And then I thought like, fuck lah, let's throw some
Is it
ideas
the
into
River
AI.
Hong
Huh?
Is it the River Hong Bao?
No, the
it's a different-
Symphony of Light recently one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I've done it already. I thought like, okay, you know what, and somehow it's like, we were negotiating the deal for so long until like, okay, you know what, let's settle the deal already. Okay, settle already. Can you give us 7 days later, 3 songs draft? How, bro? Like, I was like,
7 days?
7 days, 3 songs. I'm like, how? How the hell am I supposed to do it? And most producers out there will be like, okay, like I was talking to Evan, Adventure Time.
I love Evan.
Which is
Yeah.
Benjamin King, producer.
Yeah.
National Day song is like 1 whole year you take to compose.
Yeah.
You know, like that quality, that standard, that emotion. And then most producers were like, okay, maybe I can give you a song a month. You know, this is 3 songs in a week. I've done 1 song a week. I've never done 3 songs in a week. That is like mind breaking. So I had to like take leave from my work. I cannot sleep for 7 days. I'm just constantly like pressing keyboards and coffee, right? And then I was like, should I use AI? Okay, let's try to input AI. Actually, it's not that easy, man. To compose music with AI is actually not that easy. You really need to know the right prompts and that kind of thing. And then for that project, I just like, okay, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna do it manually by myself.
Right.
And somehow I managed to do it. But in future, right, how I would do it differently is like, I would probably give the AI a prompt, and then the AI will come out like 50 versions.
Right.
And then I'll pick the best, and then I'll tweak it to the way that I want it based on how I feel. Because at the end of the day, music is more about emotion, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And that's how I would do it. And eventually, if AI would take over DJing or AI would take over music production, right, I will have to find some way to exist in that musical space. And I find that the way, right, is live music. I think guitar, piano, whatever, right, is gonna come back. I mean, that there will definitely be like robots that can play piano fucking well, right? But then the thing is like, if a human can do it, right, I think it's so much more admirable. This guy like sacrificed his life for it, you know, and the journey to be able to play like that, right, is much more meaningful and can actually draw a crowd. People draw people. And that's what I see like the finality will be. AI will reach a point of like omnipotence, you know, you can do anything, right? But then the thing is we choose to like, okay, no, we want to see a person do it.
Yeah.
That's what
I think it's gonna be like that too.
Yeah.
It's like how I view it is like almost like when you had the Industrial Revolution and like maybe you can factory make a cup now, right?
Yeah.
Now you get back then you have like glass blower have to blow the cup. You know,
Yeah, then the
it'll be
turning
imperfect.
on the
Yeah,
cup.
every cup is like a bit fucked up, like a bit saying, and then eventually like then the technology came out that they can now like fucking make cups like perfectly with like factory made equipment, and yeah, the cups are perfect, but there's still people still appreciate the beauty of something that's handmade, and there is that allure, and I think with art it'll be like that where people will still appreciate the imperfections, the human side of something that is touched by human hands. But you can't deny that AI is gonna be there. I think anyone who says like, AI is not gonna take over and not gonna like take artistic jobs is kidding them, is like lying to themselves.
Yeah.
It's inevitable. It's unfortunate as it is. It's gonna take jobs. It's gonna render some people obsolete, but it just means that it's like any tool. I mean, when the calculators came out, like people who use the abacus,
Don't use Sing already.
yeah, and everyone who use abacus is fucked, right? So like same as in like you have to adapt. You have to realize at the end of the day, it's a tool, and if you can use a tool well, then you will be able to achieve more.
Yeah,
Right?
precisely.
It's like film as well, right? I mean, with film, when digital cameras came out, like all the skills that you needed with a film camera were lost. Back when you use a film camera, you cannot see there's no way to see what you're filming on. Only once you develop the film, then you know what it looks like. With a digital camera, you look at the lens, you see the viewfinder, you can see what's actually coming out. So that skill is lost, but with that skill lost comes new things, right?
Yeah.
People use the tool and they get new creative ideas. So I think in that's how I view AI. It eliminates some of the old skills, but it gives birth to new skills. And I think some people will still appreciate the old skills. I mean, look at the resurgence of film in today, right? Like there's a lot of people who like the old school film look, there's this whole nostalgia factor.
Yeah.
And that's always going to be a niche, but so I think it just changes the landscape for that medium and that art form lah.
I mean, now I still go Japan seeing 3 people whacking the mochi thing. Right?
Yeah. You don't want to see a fucking robot whack the mochi. I want to see 3. Dude, if it's like a
Sweating
freaking
their ass off.
If it's a robot whacking the mochi, I'll be like, it's a robot lah. Of course, they freaking whack the mochi nicely. But then it's like 3 Japanese dudes like risking their fingers. It's so fucking exciting, right?
Yeah.
I don't care if the robot loses his fingers.
Yeah,
I don't care if the robot can whack the mochi, bro. But I care if like 3 old Japanese dudes can hit the mochi.
And they're fucking fast. I don't get it.
I don't care if a robot does that,
Yeah,
bro.
precisely.
Yeah,
but how do you like kind of future-proof yourself though, in a way?
I
Or
think
you just constantly think of how to adapt?
I think in order to future-proof yourself, you need to always be learning and give up on the idea that you figured things out. You have not figured things out.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a very unsettling feeling, man.
It is. It sucks. Like I've been in this for 10 years and I have to sometimes tell myself like, hey, you haven't figured it out. Still...
And some Gen Z will come up with some crazy idea.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit.
And then I have to look at them and be like, this guy has been doing it for a year and then he already knows how to do it better than me. I'm like,
yeah.
but it is what it is. I
So-
mean, in the creative field, I think what I do have that they may not have as somebody who has had like 10 years of experience is that I have fundamentals. I mean, there's fundamentals of creative work that help, that translate no matter, good storytelling,
Yeah.
how to get people's attention. All these things, like, there are certain fundamentals that carry through, but there are like trending stuff and all that you will not be able to keep up with and you have to just be willing to understand that, hey, there are things that I will be better at and there are things that I will not be as good at. And if you can recognize that, I think you will be able to at least keep up, and at least you have to be humble. You have to be like continuously telling yourself that I'm a student like throughout life. There's no point where I stop understanding things and I stop learning things.
And I don't know, like, it seems like in the creative industry, the older you get, you start to become obsolete. In a way.
Sometimes, yeah, it feels that way.
Right.
It does feel that way.
Yeah, I don't know if for our older audiences, how would you kind of help them cope? Is there really no way? Is this inevitable, or do we still matter?
I think you have to find what aspects of your experience still matter. You have to find a new way to use your skill sets, right? For example, if you're an athlete, right? If you're an athlete, you eventually have to deal with the fact that you're not going to be able to beat the young guys.
Yep.
When you get older, your skills actually literally become obsolete.
Yeah.
You get older, your muscles don't work as well.
Yeah.
And as a creative, we are facing that in a certain way.
Yeah.
And so I think the same way that an athlete has to deal with it, we have to deal with it. We have to find new avenues and new ways to use our skill set. And it's just, if you're an elite athlete and your muscles stop working as well as they used to when you're young, doesn't mean you're no longer useful. There's still so many other things that you can do.
They become commentators.
Yeah, you can be a commentator. You can still use your knowledge.
Yeah.
You can still use your mindset in other ways, the connections that you've made, the network that you've built. So you have to look for other things and not just rely on the one thing that you have. And it sucks.
Yeah,
sucks.
unfortunately, it's like...
It's painful, right? It's
last
painful
time when
to
you work,
change.
you try to work until a point and, okay, relax already. Now it's like work to a point to work some more.
Exactly.
Because if you stop working, you just disappear.
Yeah, you have
That's
to
the
you have
worst.
to be in constant growth throughout. It's
Yeah,
tough.
That's the worst.
It's tough, but it's also fun, right? As in, like, you want to be stagnant, man.
For creatives, but can you imagine like accountant? Then like AI take over your job and then it's like, no, now what?
Oh, dude.
Oh fuck, now I need to start making TikToks, man. Fuck my life.
Auditing TikTok, it's like fucking...
Yeah. Accounting TikTok.
I want to watch that, bro.
You know those kind of like office people, right? They make like TikToks where about like passive aggressive office behavior. It's like, hey, how to say fuck you in corporate. You know that one is like from what has been mentioned above hand, something like that, and then they will like word it differently.
I can.
I mean,
Yeah,
office people-
maybe
office people start to,
that's where they have to go.
Yeah. But I don't know, like, other than the creative industry, like even like, let's just say like programming, like even, I don't know if you know Jensen Huang, like the
No.
CEO of NVIDIA,
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah.
graphic cards, right? And then he said, right, eventually, right, AI is going to take over programming because AI can program itself already. And then the new programming language will not be Python, C++, or HTML, you know, it's going to be English.
Right.
You just tell them, I want this to happen, and then they'll program it to make this happen.
Right.
Yeah, last time you still need to allow a hex key include IO square, fuck, all this. Ayo.
But there will still be some human element and skill required. Like it just changes. What?
I think it becomes more and more high level.
Yeah.
Yeah, till eventually people cannot really keep up. And then a lot will be replaced or yeah, it's a exciting yet scary time in the future of humanity. Eventually everybody is rendered jobless, right? So what, is government gonna feed everybody or everybody's gonna be eliminated? Holy fuck, dude.
That would be a crazy situation.
That would be a crazy situation, right? I mean, we got so many people, and then everything that robots already can do. So, what's your purpose? What's your
I mean,
purpose?
the ideal is like we're all chilling.
If the government let us chill, it's like too many, you know,
Yeah, all
consume
these
too
fuckers
much,
chilling and nobody is like doing the work. It's like
take up so much resources. You know the cartoon where everybody, like, you know, the robots do everything, and then eventually
Wall-E,
people
is
don't. Is it?
It's Wall-E, yeah. Wall-E,
people
where they
don't
all,
walk
like,
anymore.
fat, yeah.
Then they just like
They're
on the
like those
floating
fat guys.
wheelchairs.
That's Wall-E, yeah.
Then they're all fat.
That's the dream, though. Well,
Wow.
fat and like.
Yeah, I hope the government takes care of us, man. Meanwhile, we have to take things into our own hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're playing the music at the
Then the light will synchronize.
at the speakers there, like they got speakers there.
Yeah, correct.
Wow, that's damn cool. Shit.
Yeah. And this is like my first music composition gig lah. I mean, I'm a DJ, I'm just performing live to people. To think that I'm like producing music now, like Evan, you know, it's like fucking next level.
How was it? What was the challenge in producing music for this?
I mean, as DJs, right, at first, as DJs, all you have to do is be good at DJing and then you get hired, right? But no longer the case now. People have to know you for a song like Zed or Martin Garrix or Calvin Harris, you know.
Right.
So now DJs have to start producing even though it's not like their true first love. So I dabble here and there for like maybe 5 years, not really anything too serious. And then eventually I got this opportunity and then I try to wing it with as much of my knowledge as I can. And then I did it, you know, this is like my first paid gig for music production.
That's awesome, man.
It is like way more difficult than I thought it would have become. Because music...
Cheers to that, though.
Yeah, man.
Like, good job, man.
Fuck.
Congratulations.
That's crazy. Like, because music is not just like, okay, I produce music, done. There's like rights. Do you want to like give them the tracks in perpetuity?
Right.
Or do you want to like own the song? And then I'm like, huh? All this shit? What the fuck? What is all this?
IP, yeah.
Yeah.
There's damn few IP lawyers in Singapore, actually.
Yeah. And DJing is much like a keyboardist, you know, like performing live, you know, doing all that kind of thing. But then when it comes to like composition and production, it's like a whole different ball game lah. And I have some successes on SoundCloud. I literally did a remix that had like 500,000 plays on SoundCloud.
What was that? A remix
it's
of what?
Arcade. I forget by it's like an indie song lah, and then it's quite huge, and then I remixed it, and then like right now it's like 500,000
Nice.
plays, and that's like my most successful track. But I didn't have any like official Spotify release, so I'm still like more like practice mode for 5 years. I'm very not confident when it comes to producing music lah. So I've just been like more undergroundish about it for like 5 years, and then when I got this opportunity, I'm like a bit stressed. Yeah, I never really released anything of my own, and now I'm doing for Singapore River Festival. What the fuck? You know?
You went from like 0 to 100, bro.
Yeah, man.
But that's good. That's the best way to go.
You know, do you want to do it? I'm like, oh shit, man, this is like rare opportunity. I think I should just try to wing it.
Nice.
And they like it. I'm like, what? I can't believe it, yeah.
Nice.
So yeah lah.
Shit, that's amazing.
Okay, time for our next drink, man. I need to finish this first. Got different flavor. Yeah.
What do you think is the most important skill set when it comes to DJing?
Last time I used to think that DJing skills is the most important. Oh yeah, I recently gave a talk at NUS to a bunch of DJ school kids. And then everybody's like so serious about DJing. And then I'm like, hey guys, back in the day I still do this thing called practice, man. Now it's like fucking pointless. Now it's just PR and shit. if you love the craft, right, you just practice for your own sake, but it probably wouldn't matter as much. It's more about how many people you know.
Really?
And it's a bonus if you're a good DJ, you know. Yeah. So there are still some people that come because I'm a good DJ, but then most of the people that are there because of the venue. So if you want to make it a career, you have to think differently as if you want to do it as a hobby.
Right.
And then, I think at the end of the day, stick true to who you are and what you want to become. Or stick true to who you are rather than what you want to become, because you might want to be rich and famous, right? But you might be passionate about music, you know. And being passionate about music, the purest form, right? It's not about chasing the money.
Yeah.
Because if you start chasing money, then you start doing less of music really. Yeah. But the fact is we need to survive, right? So we need to chase money in a way, which is like the initial problem like that you have when running a company.
Balancing creativity with money is a tough tightrope.
Like in so many fields, right? Like you have to do it. Like even as big as like Mr. Beast or something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Did you hear about his drama?
How many? Which ones? The
whole what was his drama? It was like the people were not in good conditions when he was doing his reality shows and things like that.
Oh shit, seriously?
Yeah. And also there was a
lot
of
things on Reddit also.
There was a lot of rigging in the contest and things like that. That's why I always say like, hey, question authenticity. If you're watching social media, like question what you're seeing. Like even whatever we say is like, as in like take it with a grain of salt. What I'm saying now is like what I want to say is the me that I want to portray to you, right? It's not who I actually am, you know. Who you actually are is like determined by the actions that you do, and
then I think you have so much more vulnerabilities, right, that you might not even be able to express to your significant other also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What you show to your significant other probably is like 99%. There's still that 1% probably.
There's still, who are you like truly 100% with, right?
Yeah, unless you watch
I feel like you're not even 100% with yourself sometimes. Like
unless you watch Pacific Rim, then you start link up with another. Link up, bro. Link up.
Yeah, bro. Then you gotta be 100% in sync.
Wow, that one cannot, yeah. If not in sync, then the robot cannot balance.
It's better than a relationship, bro. It's like being in a Jaeger link.
Yeah lah. You can
No, I love Pacific Rim. Dude.
Yeah, you can be Jägerling or you can have some Jägermeister. Also can link.
Also link.
Yeah, man. Wow, that's ridiculous. Yeah. I can kind of see the appeal in Joe Rogan podcast, man. Fucking hell, everybody go down there, smoke up, man, and go crazy, and then they just like spill, man, just spill.
It's crazy, dude. Joe Rogan really built a fucking thing for himself.
Yeah, And I think like everybody has humble beginnings, right? He says that his first sponsor is like a sex toy sponsor. He's like, hey, fuck man, let's just do it, man. Wing it, you know?
Nice. Wang it, yeah.
Wang it, bro.
Wing it and wang it.
Yeah. So, I don't know, man. What's like your next step in your creative endeavor? I mean, you are like putting out a notice like new job title, right? Freelance social media.
Yep.
Yeah.
So right now, I mean, recently I've been working with a bouldering gym doing their social media. I've also been.
Do you actually apply for this job, or they're like, hey, this guy's available, they find you?
So I reached out to them. I was like I was talking to them about whether they needed marketing help and whether they're looking for a marketing position, and then they didn't have like the funding to do like a full-time job. So I was like, why don't you like work with me on contract? So that's how I got into the freelance like social media consultation thing. So I was like, work with me on contract, like it'll be like more budget friendly. And after that, I've gotten more like work doing like freelance social media consulting. So I'm doing it for like a group of like FAs as well. So I'm doing like social media consultation for them, and then it just kind of picked up from there. And I think for me right now, it's just an exploration phase again lah. And like it's scary because it's like kind of like looking for my new strength again.
Yep.
Like where a new place for myself to be in. But I think you can't be afraid of that lah. It's like you need to reinvent every now and then. And of course it's scary to like reinvent because you don't know where it's gonna go, but you have to be open to the idea of it.
Where does the line of consultation begin and end? Because you see, when you consult, right, do you actually do the social media content for them?
Depends on the scale and budget. So if ideally, like I enjoy consultation, so I want to just do like the big
Ideation.
picture strategy and ideation. But some of the guys, they need me to do the production as well.
Oh,
So
damn.
if that's the case, then if they got budget, I will build a team and I'll work with like freelancers to handle the production. But if they got no budget, then and I feel like okay, it's worth it for me to take on this job, then I'll do it myself. Yeah. So it really depends on the scale, lah. Yeah.
Okay. So, but then the content will exist on their page and not yours, because of the brand income.
Yeah. My own page now is just for my own fun and experimentation. I've been doing like fashion content, lah.
Yeah, I see the jump. Yeah.
But it's just for myself. I enjoy
Do you know frugal aesthetics?
dude, I fucking love
Are you inspired?
frugal. I love the frugal aesthetic is my vibe, dude. It's like so.
He finally do the face review and he did something, do you know?
Yeah.
The recent strategy with the girl, you know?
What do you do? I didn't.
So frugal aesthetic finally review his face. So that's another hype point, right?
Yeah.
So when he never reveal his face, he know that revealing his face is the hype point. So now he revealed his face already. So how can he create a next hype to sell more merch, right? Is he created this fake relationship with a girl, okay, so this is my girlfriend. For 3 days, they're just faking it, right? The merch sales is like...
Dude, frugal aesthetic is genius, bro.
Dude,
I fucking
he's a
love
savage,
him.
bro.
He's damn smart. He's fucking...
And then
The
after
man
that,
knows
he
social
showed you
media.
a tutorial of how he did it. Also, this is actually my fake girlfriend. Everybody, what? Bro!
I love frugal aesthetic.
Frugal aesthetic is violent, man.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I love like fashion and like the... I feel like Singapore is like... Everybody is like... I feel like the typical Singaporean guy has just given up on fashion, lah. Yeah.
I know.
And like the idea is always like, hey, I wear Uniqlo because it's what I like. I'm like,
Cannot,
it's how I view it when people tell me like, oh, they like to wear Uniqlo and that's the only thing they wear, is like, have you tried wearing other stuff yet? It's like you eat food, right? Like if you never eat anything other than chicken rice and you tell me like chicken rice is your favorite, then I have to ask you like, have you tried anything else? But if you ate everything else, you ate a little bit of everything else, then you tell me chicken rice is your favorite. That okay, I respect
claim
that.
is
Okay,
legit.
Your claim is legit. But if you wear Uniqlo, you never worn anything else, and you tell me like Uniqlo is your favorite, then bro, you haven't even tried anything yet. Have you experimented? Have you like actually had a taste of everything yet?
Yeah.
You had a taste a little bit and then you said it's not my taste, then fine.
Yeah.
Uniqlo is your personality, fine.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna fault you for that. I mean, I like wearing some Uniqlo clothes. Like I have lots of pieces from Uniqlo, but if you are not gonna even try anything else outside your comfort zone and then just go like, this is me, then I'll be like, hey, don't
This
be
kind
so
of people,
boring.
we're gonna take over.
Yeah. Shit, exactly. I think so. The people who all wear Uniqlo, right? Yeah, it's out to get
the
you.
factory people, all the
factory.
Autobots.
The auto.
Yeah. Back when I was starting DJing, right, like in the hip hop DJing phase of my life, it's all about competitive DJing. It's a lot about skill. And then you don't really pay attention to what you dress, so you're just like practicing your ass off and you look like shit, and then you can do amazing things, you know. But then slowly now I start to realize that DJing is like an entertainment.
Performative, right? It's performative.
you people look at you, you know. So it's like the visual that capture them first before whatever you're doing. And even if you're doing amazing thing, they might not even understand because it's so technical, you see. Yeah, so I slowly start to tell all the people that is like close to me, like, hey, you know what? We should start to pay more attention about how we dress.
It's theater.
Yeah.
It's a show, right? In theater, you gotta dress up.
Yeah.
You gotta look. It's not
the
about
perspective.
yeah.
Okay, I mentioned this like recently quite a lot in this podcast, right? I don't know if you know this Gen Z term called Oxford Studies.
No. What? Tell me
Holy
about Oxford
fuck,
Studies, bro.
So it's basically right, a girl, right, that will go to Oxford to study to meet white guys, lah. And then whatever the white guy do, right, an Asian guy can do better, but a white guy does the same or not as good, right? They will think that the white guy is a bloody genius. And then they look down on their own Asian compatriots.
Right.
Basically, like last time we call sound party girl, lah.
Right.
So I think, in a sense, like, even though we don't really want to appreciate, we don't really want to like admit the fact that like white supremacy still exists, right? But then the thing is, I think Asians have to try harder in order to like, you know, look at Jackie Chan, man. So many films, so many bones broken, and finally, oh, here's your 1 Grammy.
Right.
as compared to like so many other.
For sure. The cards are stacked.
So if we dress the same as them or worse than them, right? How the hell do we even expect ourselves to have a chance? Right? Sad to say lah. I wish substance matter as much in today's context lah. I really do lah. That's what our parents enforce and instill in us, right? But then the thing is like, especially in the entertainment industry, it doesn't matter as much. And then now the West invents AI to kill academics. It doesn't matter as much again.
Right.
Yeah.
But I would argue that the visual element of the performance is just as important. It's just as much substance, right? I mean, a good performance is like...
It's 50-50 lor.
Exactly.
You forget one part, then cannot already.
Think about food, right? If you're a chef...
garnish.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The garnish, the presentation is just as important as the food.
Yes.
To a chef, you don't think like, oh, taste only what? I don't care how it looks.
Yeah, man.
So why then in any other aspect should we not care about how something...
But I think cooking is like thousands of years already, so they kind of figure out already. DJing is like maybe 50 years
exactly.
Already. So they're like, you know.
But I think like with any art, with any performance, and even in life, like everything matters lah. As in like the looks say something, right?
Yep.
I think some people want to pretend like looks don't matter and I just want to exist. I just want to like perform and be the thing.
That used to be me, man.
And be...
But cannot lah.
Yeah, but that's not... But if you really think about it, it all comes together. It's like a food. When you eat a food, the taste is not the only thing that matters. The presentation matters. The story matters.
Do you know this YouTube channel called Alexander the Guest?
No.
It's basically this rich guy, right? That okay, you know what? I want to start my own Michelin restaurant. Okay, then he create a restaurant and he got one Michelin star. Then he's like, okay, I want to now learn from the best. So because I'm rich, right? I go everywhere to every 3 Michelin star restaurant and I eat. And then I'll video my experience and I'll rate it lah. And then I'll adopt the good principles. And then he said that, right, he cannot believe, right, how Michelin star raters, right, those mystery guests, right, come, right, eat the food, just rate the food based on the food, right, without being affected by the atmosphere. Because he's technically doing that as well, but it's on video, right? And it's like he can't help but kind of affected by the atmosphere, how the service happens, you know, it all affects how the food tastes.
It does. It's everything. The story matters so, and I think like more so than ever nowadays, like brands are leveraging on that, the emotional feeling that you get when you have a product or anything, like even like freaking you buy Nike shoes and whatnot. There's a
wow. When I see the after movie, is like, you know, like you can finally do it. Then they show one athlete like only got like one hand or something, and then he's still chonging.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, you know.
It's important. Like, I mean, we all want to believe like, hey, it's all about the substance. That's the thing that we all want to pretend and believe it is. But no, it's about the packaging as well. The packaging is just as important as what's inside the packaging. And I think
like what Mr. B said, man, if people don't click, they don't even care about the video. You don't even know what the hell is inside the video.
Yeah.
Thumbnail is equally important. It's not more important.
We want to pretend and go like, hey, actually the content is all that matters. But no, it's not. It's everything around it. Everything around it is just...
Sad lah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then, let's just say, I don't know, man. I got a feeling now, right, with all the lessons that you've learned, right, you might be going back to jump starting 3 potatoes. Don't you feel like that is like the resurrection arc?
Oh my god.
Don't you think so?
I
don't know, I just got a feeling. That might not be what you want to do, but I thought like, wow, that full circle moment, like, whoa!
That would be insane. I would need to think very, very long and hard about it.
Dude,
yeah.
you need to reunite the crew, man. Fucking assemble the Avengers.
That would be a journey.
That would be epic, right? When y'all took the reunion photo after like 5 years, I saw, holy shit, dude.
When we took that photo that night, we were like, hey, watch, we can still get some views. we can still get some likes.
That's some small stripe level shit, bro. I was like excited, man, for a moment. I was like, wow, holy shit, man.
We were just having fun. Elliot was saying like, hey, I bet we can get 1,000 likes.
And I think you guys like stay nearby or something. You guys like interact normally on a daily basis.
We do. Like Elliot and Janice were all great friends too. And I love all of them. Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
And it's like so perfect. Like you form the company and then you decide to go and do your own things, right? But then there's like no animosity and everything. It's still
No,
like kind of
no.
like, wow, it's so bloody rare lah. But I don't know, do you foresee yourself like, not say jump starting Three Potatoes, but maybe like starting like a YouTube channel of your own, like a content thing that belongs to you and you yourself only and not working for someone else?
I mean, for me, if I were to ever go back into content again and like do it full time, it would have to be something that I'm very passionate about lah. Yeah. So right now, like
Is it you trying to find that thing?
I'm still looking. Yeah, I'm still looking, and I wouldn't say it's like not ever gonna happen, but I'm still searching lah. Yeah. And I think that's one of the key things, that if you're doing content, you gotta love it lah. It's tough, man. It's like every day in and out, it's like a freaking grind, dude. You need to have something driving you, and if there's nothing driving you, it's gonna be freaking painful.
Yeah.
So I want to find that again before like I ever want to go through that process again. Like I want to find like that fuel. You need to have the fuel. You don't have the fuel, very hard to burn the fire.
There's this guy on TikTok also doing fashion one. It's this black guy.
Oh, dude, I love him.
Shit, I forget what his name is already.
The one who does like the really fancy edits.
Yeah. It's like, hey,
Is this start with a K?
Yeah. So basically, you do a lot of slow motion shit.
Dude, that shit is insane.
Change.
Wait, he does like the anime, like the One Piece. He did one Avatar. Wisdom K.
Yeah, Wisdom K. Yeah.
That guy is amazing, dude.
Yeah, so I don't know lah. From short form, you can try a lot of stuff, and then eventually you find something that sticks, and then.
I mean, I love doing fashion stuff. I'm always happy to. What I wanted to do with fashion is just create an accessible point for like Singaporean guys lah. I feel like the problem when it comes to fashion content is like there's so much like there's so many like American and you know Angmo influencers who are doing fashion, but when it comes to Singaporean fashion, it's like there's not many. Like, and normally if there's Singaporean fashion, it's like for very out there or like Gen Z fashion. But for me, I'm like an older guy. I'm gonna do like a bit more.
What, normcore?
Yeah, I want to do fucking normcore, dude. I wanna dress up well, but like be pretty chill about it, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'm that normcore lah. Like most people.
No, you
think
start out normcore, man, but eventually you go towards that direction.
But fashion is fun, man. I love the whole idea of like fashion being like a statement about yourself. Like even if you, I love the idea and the idea that even if you just wear Uniqlo, right, and you tell yourself, I don't care about fashion, you're making a statement. You're making a statement that I'm a normcore dude and I'm gonna wear Uniqlo and I don't care what people think about how I look. Yeah. It's a statement. You think that you're not making a statement by wearing Uniqlo, but you're making a statement. You're making a statement that I'm a normal guy who abides by normal rules and doesn't want to be out of the box, which is fine. I mean, like, if that's your vibe, then that's your vibe.
And if you're like Adam Sandler, or you can rock this shit.
Dude, Adam Sandler, and he's just fucking chilling, bro. The man is just like comfortable in his skin.
He finished his main quest already. He's just doing side quests, bro. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I remember when I did the podcast with Lincoln Cheng, the creator of Zouk at Jakim 40 years ago. And then he's like, fashion and music kind of exist together in the same space. So back then, right, I love this moment when it's like up and coming fashion designers or models or whatever, I want to have a runway show, right? It's like, okay, fuck lah, Zouk, early hours, give it to you for free, do it. And then our DJs will DJ for your runway, we'll showcase you. And then as it ends, and then, you know, it will become a party. And through the years of support, right? And then the fashion people are truly grateful to him. And then they all patronage Zouk, you know, and make it such a cool place. Yeah, I really love that collaborative spirit. It's like you don't expect anything, you just do what's best for everybody, right? And then somehow the good karma will come back to you.
It does. You bring value to people and then people will appreciate it and they'll come back.
Yeah, precisely. And then it comes back to the whole entire record label management, talent management. You grow a YouTube channel and you groom this person, then this person big, then they chow, right? It shouldn't matter actually. Yeah, it will come back to you indirectly, directly somehow. And then I think if you look at those big K-pop agencies like YG or JYP, they have so many big artists that still stay by their side. I don't know how into K-pop you are.
I'm not super into it.
Yeah. But recently K-pop start to, I think they have a lot of Korean American producers now that are adopting a lot of the recent genres that are big, like UK garage, drum and bass, two-step garage or whatever lah. And then they start to infuse it into K-pop, and K-pop starts to become so interesting. Yeah, that you know, last time as DJs we used to think that it's super cheesy as a genre, we try to avoid it, and then now I start to feel like I'm gravitating to it. You know?
Right.
Yeah, they somehow know how to capture you already. Yeah, and they're doing it so masterfully lah. And you know, K-pop is just full of like good-looking girls and good-looking guys. And obviously, there are so many cases of like the boss, like, you know, harassing the artists and shit, right? But then those firms that truly last, right, are those that are like built on mutual trust lah. And like, okay, you know what, I'll groom you to the best of my abilities. You know, I know that you will leave me one day, but then the thing is, I still do it. And then they feel the trust, and then they're like, hey, there's no other agency better than this, yeah. I stay.
Yep.
Yeah. And then, you know, I'm just an artist. I just want to do the artist shit.
Yeah.
You know? I don't want to do the managerial shit. Okay, you can handle it. I will stay with you. Wow. Perfect. Yeah, lor.
That's the ideal, right? That's the dream state to be in.
Yeah, that's a dream state, man.